Peace and blessings. Alright guys, so today I'm going to be talking about the desert card in the Earth Magic Oracle deck. And I decided to start talking about different cards and different decks that I gravitate towards, which are mostly the earthy and spiritual type of decks. But yeah, Earth Magic, I like Earth Magic, so I decided to start talking about it. So desert, let's talk about the desert. Now this card was actually like out, just like out. I was playing with these cards earlier in the week and my daughter just started throwing all the cards around. Sometimes I let her play with the cards and put her energy on it, but she just started throwing these cards around, and when I put all the cards back up, this card was still out. It's actually the only card that was still out. So I asked Spirit, which card I should talk about first. When I put all the cards back in the deck and I started shuffling, and what do you know, I pulled the desert card. So here, baby, let's turn this down. So I pulled the desert card, and the desert card is the card that we're going to talk about. So before I get into my own intuitive message for the desert and what the desert means climatically, spiritually, and from my own intuitive standpoint, I'm going to read from the book, the Earth Magic Oracle book. So desert, in this arid climate zone that we call desert, images shift and change throughout the day, yet always maintain a sharp and defined presence. Those hardy species of flora and fauna that have found a home in the desert have adapted over eons to the relative harshness that's a strong characteristic of these lands. Throughout history, we've passed down many stories of people wandering the desert. Often they're about religious figures and ascended masters who have journeyed there and returned to their people with remarkable visions. The desert is an ideal place to seek a vision, or more accurately, to allow a vision to come to you. The quiet and peace of such an environment is conducive to the solitude required to have this type of profound experience. Spending time in this region without the usual accoutrements of the civilized world can present survival challenges, or at least seem to. And this could rightfully be called a spirit quest, where through steadiness in this seemingly bleak environment, it becomes possible to receive direct guidance from spirit internally and in the world around you. A vision quest is a process whereby you spend a few days in the wilderness alone. Typically, you carry only water and some sacred items with you, and you spend most of the time praying or meditating. Many who have completed a vision quest assert that it is a powerful and even life-changing experience, and report vivid and profound revelations. It is said that the desert does not lie. So partaking in this can help you discover the truth about your purpose, or at least give you some clues. It is time for you to go on a vision quest. Designate a place in nature in which to dwell, whether for a couple of hours or a few days. Spend the majority of your time while there praying and meditating. It is best to be in a location where you can truly find solitude, even if it is in a quiet corner of a park for an afternoon. Wherever you go, take your question, concern, or challenge with you into prayer or meditation. Allow it to float around in your consciousness and watch what shows up. This is one of the more powerful cards. By drawing it, whatever other messages you may have received are amplified threefold. So, the entire time, not the entire time, but the majority of the time that I was reading for this card, the thing that kept coming to me was, this is what's happening as a collective all over the world right now, and some places more so than others. But, you know, right now everybody's freaking out from coronavirus. And uh-oh, what was that? Oh, that was a message. She's watching a video. So yeah, right now in some places more so than other places, things are shutting down. Stores are shutting down. Like, today was actually the day where everybody was pretty much like, everything shut down. Like, businesses are closing. People are like quarantining themselves because of this virus that is spreading, right? But from the desert energy, from this vision quest energy, all of these things shutting down is a physical manifestation of this barrenness that people are going into from this virus or this disease that is spreading. People are becoming aware, not so much consciously, but subconsciously, because, you know, people are getting scared, and people are, you know, just knowing that they need to pay attention to something. But what is that something? You know, and right now we're being moved into this barren energy, this desert kind of like energy, to where, like I said, everything's shut down. Everything's shut down. You cannot go out to a party and distract yourself. You cannot go out and go drinking, and you cannot go out and do the usual things that society and people just do in our day-to-day life. For some, that may be your day-to-day life, you know, going out and being very extroverted. Right now is not the time for extroversion. Okay, and if you do decide to be extroverted and go out, this is what you will be faced with. So, as it said, this energy is the energy of those who are of the ascended masters and those who are on a deep spiritual journey. And right now is a perfect time for you, if you are already spiritually developed and you are already spiritually inclined. Spirit has probably been telling you, like, okay, you know, or giving you different inklings and urges to be more of who you are and trust, you know, these guidances and these revelations that you're being shown. Right now is the time where you're like, you're actually very happy because you feel like this is your time. You are in the limelight right now because everybody who hasn't made it to that place is looking for you presently. They're looking for you, or they're in need of you. And when they meet you, they're going to feel like you are you're quenching their thirst. Like you are the oasis in the desert right now for people that are already spiritually high and vibrationally high, and the fears of you know, the collective that has created this kind of barrenness in society, to where nobody has this depth, nobody has this spiritual like inkling and knowing. You are the oasis here, and people are going to be running and searching for you at this present moment. And if you are not that person, you know, don't take it like, oh, I'm not there. You know, if you're not that person, this is great for you as well, because now you're being given the opportunity to really sit with yourself and listen to what it is that Spirit has to tell you. And for some of you, the ascended masters that you are seeking are going to be presented to you. So it's almost like the teachers that you need are going to present themselves to you. Maybe not so much physically, but spiritually you will be met with these different forces within you, and at some point they will end up manifesting themselves to help you along your spiritual quest, your spiritual journey, and these revelations that you have to come to terms with. So this is like my complete gist and feeling that I get when I'm thinking of everything that is going on right now in terms of, like I said, this coronavirus. And it's not even so much the virus, but it's people's reaction to it, and the environment's, okay, the earth's reaction as well. Because we know when the earth, you know, is is feeling a certain way, when the earth is being treated a certain way, it will react. It will react in ways to where things are scarce. Things aren't as abundant and readily accessed as it would be if you were living on an island, or if you were living in the tropics where fruits are plentiful, you know, and the climate is different. Right now we're being presented with a climate that is sparse, okay, and only those who know and understand where the water runs and where to go to nourish yourself, you know. I think of this, like, hill actually makes me think of the movie Holes, when, you know, they ran away, you know, the two boys ran away from their camp, which was really like a prison, but it was more like a slave like type thing, which is really like what prisons are anyway. But anyways, they were like being enslaved to do this woman's evil, dirty work, okay, to find this hidden treasure that her great-grandfather had buried centuries ago, okay, but not knowing that her family was cursed, okay. She wasn't aware of that spiritual energy, okay, that her family was actually cursed, and they could never ever find the treasures of that woman that stole all their treasures centuries ago, because they murdered the love of her life, okay, who was a black man, and they had a problem with that, you know. So they murdered him, and she was like, you know what, I'm about to take all y'all, I'm about to take everything, and I'm gonna take a bunch of y'all out too in the process, and then I'm gonna give y'all a kiss. And she was known as Kissing K. Barlow. So anyway, yeah, so that's just that. I'm saying all that to say there's a spiritual signature that is encumbrant in the people, in the collective, which is a small collective, you know, in the family line, that is forcing people to think, that they're doing something wrong, okay. And so it's got them in this state of fear, and it's got them in the state of mindlessly working, mindlessly doing, mindlessly giving energy to this family, to these people that are spiritually cursed. They're spiritually cursed from the things that they've done for centuries and centuries, from centuries and centuries ago. Okay, and now the small collective, the collective is, you know, ready for change. And so some of you some of you are going to make that bold move and you're going to say, F this, something's up. I don't know what it is, but I know I got to get the heck out of here. And you're going to go on that spiritual journey, and you're going to be in the desert, in the barren desert, you know, with your friend, with your family, with someone who is meant to go on that journey with you, and somebody who is meant to help you break your own family's curse. So in that movie Holes, and I'm talking about all of this in reference to the movie Holes, because this cliff makes me think of the cliff that Mr. Zeroni was supposed to climb and bring himself up to with the other guy. Okay, so I'm getting names mixed up, but the grandmother was supposed to be brought up to the cliff of these kids. And she was a mystic woman, okay, and she was also a black woman. And she said, you know, to this Italian, Jewish guy, I don't know, but she was like, you have to bring me up to the mountain to be drunk and fed and eat of the food and the onions and all the stuff that's up there. But if you don't, your family's going to be cursed for all of eternity. At least she told him, you know, this is why y'all don't mess with women, okay? We will curse you. No. But, he didn't, he never brought her, okay? And this was centuries ago. He never brought her up the mountain to be fed, and so his entire family line was cursed. And that was a bulk of what that movie was about how this great-great-grandson broke the curse by bringing the great-great-grandson of this mystic woman up to this cliff, because they both ran away. Both of the grandsons ran away, and they climbed the cliff. Okay, it wasn't easy. It wasn't the easy climb. Okay, they almost fell off, busted up their hands. You know what I'm saying? The lizards was gonna eat them. But once they got up to the cliff and ate and drank of the water and the onions, the curse was broken. The curse was broken. And once they made it back to the camp, they were immune to whatever spell they were under when they were there. So that's what's happening right now, presently. This is a time and an opportunity for those to break curses of their family lines, to change and get from under the spell that they've been under. I feel like right now especially because it's moving into spring, a lot of change is coming. A lot of change is coming, and people are really getting wake-up calls right now, spiritually, you know, but it's really more so of an enlightening, okay, from this desert energy. So that's all I have to say for the most part on this. If you enjoyed this video, or you feel like this has much to do with the energy you are feeling right now, make sure you put something in the comments and let me know, because I want to know what you guys are feeling right now in the midst of this virus shebang and all of that. And yeah, make sure you watch the rest of my videos. All right, see you in the next one. Peace.